so we've got a class this evening which is quite chilled, and we're also going to do a little bit of balancing, not masses, maybe a little bit about feet and wrists and just getting into those extremities of the body. But we'll start with warming up with fascia circles, just a really good way to warm up through the body. So starting with the left leg, we'll do 3 circles in one direction through the ankle, getting into the real edges of our range of motion. Then take the ankle the other way for 3 circles. Then we'll move into the knee for 3 circles one way, and then 3 circles the other way. Then into the hip. So we'll take 3 circles to the back, and then 3 circles to the front. Excellent. Then we'll switch to the other leg. So starting with the ankle, 3 really slow circles on the ankle, really getting into the edges of the movement. Then take those circles in the other direction for 3. Then into the knee. And 3 in the other direction. And then into the hip for 3. And then in the other direction. Excellent. Then bringing the feet slightly wider than hip width, do circles through both hips. We'll do a few more of these just to really get the lower back mobilised. And then take those in the other direction. Good stuff. And then bring the hips to stillness, trying to keep the shoulders as still as possible. Circle through the ribs. It's a difficult one to get your head around sometimes, to really get that middle body moving, generally where we get stuck. And if you haven't done so already, switch directions. And then circling through the shoulders, really squidging the shoulders up to the ears and then raking those shoulder blades down the back, and then take them in the other direction. Good. Then moving into the wrists, big circles in the wrists. And in the other way. Then close the fist and circle through the wrists and just feel how that feels different on the forearms. And then in the other direction. Excellent, then into the elbows. And the other way. And then really big circles into the shoulders, really squeezing the arms up, feeling all those crunchy bits in the shoulders. Making those circles as quick or as slow as you like. And then take those in the other direction. And then bring the arms down by your sides. Take your left ear to your left shoulder. Just hang out there for a moment, relaxing the right shoulder down, maybe giving your neck a little squidge if that feels good for you today. Maybe squidging over the top of the shoulder into the tops of that muscle. And then bring the head to centre and take the ear to the opposite shoulder. And do exactly the same. Let that left shoulder relax down. Maybe give the neck a bit of love. A little bit of squidging. Good. Then bring the head up to centre. We'll take the chin towards the left collarbone, towards the left shoulder. Then roll the head all the way around the front, scraping the chin around the collarbones, and then scrape it all the way back again. Roll it round one way, and then back again. Then bringing the chin up to parallel, turn the head and look over the left shoulder. Inhale as you come back to centre, and then exhale, turn and look over the right shoulder. Inhale back through centre, exhale one way. Inhale centre, exhale the other way. Then coming back to the centre, drop the chin down onto the chest, interlace the fingers, place the palms around the back of the skull. Really press the chin into the collarbones and then press the head into the hands, stretching out down the back of the neck. Couple more breaths here. Then release that off. We'll start with a few block breaths. So really ground down through the feet to start with. Your feet can be slightly wider than hip width, or together, whichever feels more comfortable for you. But allow the legs to have a little micro bend so the legs are comfortable. And then inhale the arms up in front of you for the count of 4. Hold the breath in as the arms are above you. Again, we'll do that for the count of 4. Exhale the hands down by the sides. Again, that will be for the count of 4. And then hold the breath outside the body. And you guessed it, for the count of 4. So in, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. In, hold, out, hold, in, hold, out, hold, in, hold, out, hold. Excellent. Then just come to the tops of your mats. We'll do a gentle flow to get started. So inhaling the arms up above the head. Exhale, folding forward, bending the knees and letting the body hang over the legs. Just have a few breaths here in forward fold, stretching out the lower back, letting the head hang, maybe nodding the head, maybe shaking the head, letting any tension in the neck ease away. Keep breathing, just allowing the head to be below the heart. On your next inhale, come to a halfway lift with a nice long back. And then on your next exhale, fold forward again into forward fold. On your next inhale, come up into halfway lift again, long back. And then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, coming up into halfway lift, long back, long neck. Then exhale, bend the knees, forward fold. Then grounding down through the hands, fingers wide. Step the left leg back, step the right leg back into plank. Bring the knees down to the floor. Then take the chest and the chin to the floor and then scoot forward into a cobra pose. Stretching the chest forward, letting the shoulder blades come down the back and let the legs be completely relaxed. Exhale down to the mat, take the hips back towards the heels into child's pose. Really deep breath here. Keep the arms active so the elbows are up off the floor. Think about stretching the sit bones down towards the heels as the fingers reach in the opposite direction. Come up onto the knees, tuck the toes and push up into our first down dog of the evening. Have a wiggle and a jiggle here. So maybe step one heel down towards the mat as you bend the opposite knee and then move from side to side. Or maybe you feel more you need to stretch through the shoulders, in which case take the chest towards the thighs. Legs can be bent. Maybe wrap the shoulders around the sides of the body. Move wherever you feel you need to move this evening. Then looking forwards, step forward with the left leg, step forward with the right leg. So we're back in our forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, long back, long neck. Exhale, forward fold. Then inhale, come all the way up to the top. Arms reach up, look up. Exhale, hands to heart center. 3 breaths here. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands through heart center. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands through heart center. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands through heart center. This time flowing into the other side. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Big bend in the knees. Inhale, halfway lift, long neck, long back. Exhale, fold. Ground down through the hands. Step back with the right leg, step back with the left leg. Bring the knees to the floor. Bring the chest and the chin to the floor and then scoot forward into cobra pose. Really reaching that chest forwards, relaxing the shoulders down the back, trying to relax the legs and use your back muscles instead. Exhale, bring your body back down onto the mat and then take the hips back into child's pose. Again, stretching the fingers away, really encouraging the sit bones down towards your heels, elongating the back. Then come up onto the knees, tuck the toes and push up into downward facing dog. Couple of breaths here. Then step forward with the right foot, step forward with the left foot. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, all the way up to the top. Exhale, hands to heart center. Then take the arms down by the sides and really concentrate on the feet. So feel the mat underneath your feet. Take the weight forwards and backwards slightly and find the sweet spot where you're completely evenly balanced between the balls of your feet and your heels. Then take the body from side to side. And again, find that sweet spot somewhere between the pad of the little toe and the pad of the big toe. Then when you're completely balanced, roll the shoulders down the back, stand up nice and tall, close your eyes, and really feel all the balls of your feet and the heels on the mat. Lift up all of your toes and keep your whole body in perfect balance. Then put the toes down. Lift the toes up off the mat, keeping the eyes closed, and then put the toes down. One more. Really stand up tall, core is engaged, legs are engaged, lift all of the toes, and then put them back down again. Keeping the eyes closed. This time take the weight forward into the balls of the feet and come up onto your tiptoes. Keeping your eyes closed is quite challenging. You might feel like you're overbalancing. Take the heels back down if you haven't already. So eyes closed. Play with what feels best, whether your feet need to be hip width or whether you feel more comfortable with your feet together. Then closing the eyes, take a nice big inhale, engage the whole body in the legs and come up onto the tiptoes again. And then exhale the heels back down. Inhale up, exhale down. Good. Every day is different. Some days that's really easy, some days it's really challenging. So open the eyes and we'll do 3 with the eyes open. So find a point of focus and notice how much easier it is when you've got something to focus on and something to look at. So you've got something else as a point of reference on your movement. And do 3 lifts with those heels again. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Just noticing how much easier that is. Excellent. Take the hands to heart center. Take a nice big inhale and sit down in our chair. Trying to keep the hips nice and low. Find that point of focus again. So really stare hard at the place that you're focusing on. Engage the psoas muscle by squeezing the inner thighs together. Pull all the muscles in around the waist. Then come up on the toes in your chair. Then exhale the heels back down. Inhale the heels up. Exhale the heels down. Inhale the heels up. Exhale the heels down. Good. Come up. Inhale the arms all the way up. And then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. This time we're just going to step back into our downward facing dog and then bring our knees to the floor. Untuck the toes, so we're in tabletop position. Now, we've done quite a lot of work warming up the toes and mobilising the ankles, so we're just going to go to the other bit that we spend a lot of time balancing on in yoga, which is our hands and our wrists. So start by just doing circles around the wrists. Try and make sure the fingers are spread nice and wide. And as you circle, let those circles get a little bit bigger. Until you're coming all the way forward of your wrists and all the way back towards your heels. And come back and take those circles in the other direction. So little circles to start with. And then make those circles gradually bigger and bigger. Coming all the way forwards and all the way back. Excellent. Then coming back to centre, walk the fingers around to the sides so the fingers are pointing away from one another. And then just wiggle from side to side, so you're moving your shoulders from one side to the other, one side to the other. Good. And then we'll keep moving those fingers around, so the fingers then come towards our knees, and then we take our shoulders forwards and back. So fingers towards our knees, forwards and back. Excellent. And then the last one, we flip our hands around completely. So fingers are pointing towards our knees, but this time we're on the tops of our hands. So we're on the back of our palms or on the mat. And again, just go forwards and back. Just stretching out all of those muscles, all around the wrists. And then tuck the toes under and sit back on the toes, making sure the little toes are tucked under as well, and give your wrists a little squeeze. So if you make a circle with your finger and your thumb and your forefinger around the wrist, just above the knobbly bits of bones, and just squeeze, just gives a little bit of extension of wrists. Nice little bit of love. And then maybe just have a bit of a squeeze through the forearms as well. If you need more of a stretch in your toes, you can wiggle your knees forward slightly. Excellent. Then untuck the toes, give them a little squidge, or if it feels better to tap them on the floor, whichever feels best for you. Then taking the toes untucked, so you're on the tops of your feet. Lost my words this evening. Place the hands either side of yourselves and lift your knees up, so we're stretching our toes in the other direction. Couple of breaths here. And then lower the knees back down again. And I think that's quite enough of that. Okay, so grounding down through the fingers. For the rest of the class, really think about not just pressing through the tips of your fingers, but also pressing through the whole of your palm as well, so that the weight's distributed. And if you all come with your elbows and your wrists and your hands together like this, and then peel the fingers apart, keeping the wrists and the forearms together, you'll see how flexible your wrists are. If you have some sort of lotus flower going on like this, then always have your hands slightly further forward than your shoulders. If you've got really, really flexible hands and you can get them to right angles, then you can have them directly below your shoulders. But work with where your wrist flexibility is at, rather than over pushing it. Then come back into your tabletop position. Really ground down through the right hand, so the fingers are spread wide. Press everything of that right hand into the mat, and then stretch the left arm out in front of you. Then think about the top of the left foot on the mat. Really press the top of that foot into the mat, and take the right leg out behind you, stretching through the fingers and stretching through the toes. Nice big inhale here. Keep that focus on pressing into the mat with the supporting limbs, and then exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale to stretch out. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale to stretch out. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale to stretch out. Either stay stretched, pulling the core in, making sure everything's engaged, or bend the knee, reach the left hand around, and go for the bind. It's entirely up to you which you choose. Whichever you've chosen, take 3 deep breaths. Really thinking about pushing the ground away with your hand, pressing the top of the foot into the mat. If you're in the bind, take a nice big inhale, come back out to stretched, and then everybody exhale the hands down, exhale the knee down. And we'll come to the other side. So start by really grounding down through that left hand, the whole palm, all the fingertips and the thumb. Then take the right arm out in front of you and stretch the fingertips away. Press the right foot into the mat and then extend through the left leg. Engage all the core muscles. Find your stability first. Nice big inhale. Then exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale to stretch back out. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale to stretch back out. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, stretch, really grounding down through the hand, through the foot. Either stay here in the stretched position or bend the knee, reach around with the hand and take the bind. Then everybody take 3 deep breaths. Really grounding down through that hand, grounding down through the top of the foot. Then if you're in the bind, stretch back out so that arm is out, the leg is out. Everybody take a nice big inhale, exhale the hand down, exhale the knee down. Good. Tuck the toes and push back up into a downward facing dog. Inhale, come right up onto the tiptoes and then exhale, stretch the heels towards the ground as far as you're able. Inhale, come up onto the tiptoes and then exhale, stretch the heels down. Inhale, come up onto the tiptoes. Exhale, stretch the heels down. Then looking forwards, either step or jump towards the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale all the way up to the top. And then exhale, hands to heart centre. Good. Keeping the hands at heart centre. Let's go back down into our chair. So either feet together or hip width apart, whichever feels more comfortable. Take a nice big inhale. Exhale down into chair. Hips nice and low. Chest open. Find a point to focus on. Take a nice big inhale as you come up onto your toes. Then exhale the heels back down. Inhale up onto our toes. Exhale the heels back down. Inhale up onto the toes. Exhale the heels back down. Good. Inhale up. Maybe have a little kick out of those little legs. Or a little dance. Then inhale, arms up. Exhale, folding forwards. Step back with the left leg. Keep the right foot grounded. Keep the hands on the mat. Big bend in the front knee to start with. Then think about trying to move as much in coordination as you can. As you straighten the front leg and come up onto the fingertips and you lift the back leg up into like a supported warrior 3. If you're comfortable here and you feel really grounded through the standing leg, you can move your hands to heart centre or down by your sides or out in front of your head, whichever feels more comfortable this evening. Engage everything on the standing leg, engage everything on the floating leg. Really squeeze the inner thighs towards one another, concentrating on your point of focus. Nice big inhale here. Bend the front leg, exhale. Float the left leg back down to the mat and bring the arms out into warrior 2. Really reaching out through the fingertips, engaging through the arms. So if I popped into your house and I pressed down on your arms, they wouldn't go anywhere. Make them really strong. Flip the front palm. As we go back, look up and reach up with the top hand into reverse warrior. Really big inhale here. Then as you exhale, come forward, front elbow to front knee, reach the top arm over. into side angle. Inhale as we go back up, looking up into reverse. And then exhale, come forward, side angle. Inhale as we go up, last one, keeping the legs strong. Exhale, come forward, side angle. Then bring the hands back around to frame the front foot. Come onto the toes of the back foot, ground down through the hands and step back to plank. Here you can do knees, chest, chin, or come down through chaturanga, into cobra or up dog. Really stretching that chest forwards. Exhale as you come back down to the mat, tuck the toes, take the hips back and up into your downward facing dog. A couple of breaths here. Then looking forwards, bending the knees, either step or jump towards the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, come all the way up to the top. Exhale, hands to heart center. Then let's do the other side. So inhale, arms up. Exhale, folding forwards. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold forwards. So this time step back with the right leg. Nice bend in the front knee. Really ground down through that leg. And then trying to coordinate as much as possible as you straighten the front leg, you lift the back leg and come up onto the fingertips of the hands. So we're into a supported warrior three. Really engage both legs, squeeze the inner thighs towards one another, and then bring your hands to your preferred position. Either keep them on the floor, take them to heart center. They can be down by your sides or reaching out in front of you. Whichever you choose, keep your point of focus on the ground. Really engage both legs, pull the core muscles in and squeeze the inner thighs towards one another. Nice big inhale here. Exhale, gently drop the back leg and come into warrior two on the other side. Keeping our legs really strong, making sure we're really reaching out from our fingertips, looking out over the front hand, flip the palm. As you take an inhale, go back into reverse warrior, looking up towards the ceiling. Then as you exhale, bring the front elbow to the front knee and reach the top arm over. Inhale as we go back up into reverse, looking up. And then exhale, coming forwards, reaching that top arm over. Inhale, coming up. And then exhale, coming over. Good. Windmill those hands down to frame the front foot. Come onto the toes of the back foot. Step back to plank. Knees, chest, chin, or come down through chaturanga into your cobra or your up dog. Stretching that chest forwards, engaging the legs and the core if you're an up dog. Exhale back down, tuck the toes. Take the hips back towards the heels briefly, then push up into down dog and have a couple of breaths here. Looking forwards, bend the knees a lot and then either step or jump to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forwards. Inhale, all the way up to the top. Exhale, hands back to heart center. Brilliant. Okay. Little balancing series next on our feet. So, to start with, we take the hands to our hips. Really ground down through the left leg. Trying to make sure that we're stood up nice and tall. Lift the right knee up off the floor. You can have your foot flexed or your toe pointed, whichever feels more natural. Then bring the hands to heart center. Then imagine you have a line running from your feet straight out in front of you and up whatever it is that you're looking at. Follow that line as you pivot from the hips and you come into flamingo pose. So knees together, inner thighs pulling towards one another. Your chest is parallel with the ground. Take a nice big inhale here, and then stretch the back leg out into warrior three. Trying to keep the right hip lowered so that the hips are level. Take a nice big inhale. Exhale the knees back together into flamingo. Inhale here. Then exhale as you pivot the hips, come back up, bring the knee forwards. And then drop that foot down. Excellent. Really get grounded on the other side. So feel the right foot on the mat. Pressing down through the balls of the feet and through the heel. Then lift the left knee. Again, it's up to you whether the foot's flexed or pointed, whichever feels natural. Take a nice big inhale. Then pivot from the hips, following that line until you come into flamingo pose. Squeeze the knees together. Pull the core muscles in. Chest is parallel to the ground. Nice big inhale. As you exhale, take the leg out to the back, trying to keep the left hip in line with the right hip. It's going to want to lift, so try and keep those hips level. Take a nice big inhale here. Exhale, bring the knee back in. Nice big inhale in flamingo. Engage the legs. Exhale, pivot. Oops, come up. And then drop the leg down. Excellent. Okay, next one. You can either bring the knee up, have your hand on your knee. Or if it's in your practice, take your peace fingers around your big toe and you can have your legs straight. But if you find yourself doing this or this to try and get your legs straight, then have it at your knee instead. So, either way, ground down through the left leg. Really get comfortable on that left foot. Feel the perfect balance spot between the balls of the feet and the heel. Pull the tummy muscles in, pull the inner thighs towards one another. And then whether you have your knee or your leg out long, take a nice big inhale, and on an exhale, take it out to the side, wherever your hip will allow. Nice big inhale here. And then exhale, really get comfortable in this pose. Really squeeze everything towards the midline of the body. Exhale, try and find a moment of relaxation in the pose. Then inhale the knee back in front of you. And exhale, drop the foot back down to the mat. Then we'll do the other side. So really ground down through the right foot. Bring the left knee up in front of you. Either hold the knee or take your peace fingers down and take the foot straight out in front of you. Keep the body upright. Take a nice big inhale here. Exhale, take the leg out to 45 degrees or wherever your hips will allow. Take a nice big inhale. Then exhale, try and relax into the pose. Inhale the leg back to the front. Exhale, take it back down to the floor. Good. Okay, so we've balanced on our feet. The next one is to balance on our hands or our forearms. It's up to you. So if crow pose is in your practice, then you can do a crow pose. If you'd rather do something on your elbows, you can do a baby crow on your elbows. Or if you'd just rather do something like dolphin or downward dog, then obviously that's still balancing on your hands. So if you're doing dolphin or on your elbows, measure your elbows apart. So hold onto your triceps with your hands and then bring your hands in front of you so you have like a triangle between your hands and your two elbows. If you're doing dolphin pose, you keep those elbows there and you just take the hips up towards the ceiling, relax the head down and try and take the chest towards your thighs. So if that's your inversion and that's your balance for today, that's absolutely cool. Your head is still below your heart and you're balancing on your elbows. If you want to do a baby crow, instead of having your hands clasped, you take your fingers straight down towards the mat. You need to come up onto your tiptoes for this. and take your knees to your triceps. As you ground down through your elbows, take the weight forward, pull everything in, and hopefully take your toes off the floor without falling onto your face. You can always put a cushion in front of you if you're worried about doing that. Or you can start with a setup for crow. So if you're doing a setup for crow, make sure the fingers are spread wide. Make sure you're on the palms of your hands, so your whole hand is pressing into the ground. The first practice for this is literally taking the hips up high and just bringing your weight into your fingers. So you're just playing with taking your weight forwards and taking your weight back. If that's comfortable and you want to go a bit further, then you start bending the elbows and bringing the knees in towards your armpits. And again, you just take the weight forwards and take the weight back. You take the weight forwards and you take the weight back. If that's comfortable, take the weight forwards, really stretch the nose forward, maybe take one foot off the floor and take it back. Maybe you can have a go on the other side and take the other toe off the floor. Take it back. If you've been practicing crow for a while and it's in your practice, you can go into the full expression by squeezing the knees to your triceps, taking the weight forwards, pulling the belly in and taking both toes up off the floor. It's a counterbalance, so you have to be happy to take your head forwards and stretch your chin forwards whilst you're pulling your belly in to lift everything up off the ground. So have a little practice, whichever you want to do. If you want to be in dolphin, take the elbows down and just practice being in dolphin. If you want to do baby crow, it's probably easiest to start in Malasana. Get the elbows down and come forwards into baby crow. I can never come back out of baby crow, I always have to slide down my elbows. Or if you want to be in big crow, then you can do any of those progressions. Taking the weight into the hands and having a play with balancing on our hands is just what it's all about. You can do the knees if you want to. Squeeze the elbows together, squeeze the belly muscles in, take the head forwards, maybe take the toes off the floor. Or you can just have a rest in Savasana. It's entirely up to you. Whichever pose you've chosen, try and take 3 more breaths wherever you are. Good stuff. Okay, and then once you've done your 3 breaths, gently come out of your pose and come to a seated position, whether it's on your knees or cross-legged, it doesn't matter, whatever's more comfortable for you. And just have a little squeeze of those wrists again. Little squeeze both sides. Maybe circle through the wrists one way and the other way. And then bringing the elbows high, take the backs of the hands together and just, whatever that is, squidge them one way and the other way. Just mobilising through the wrists. Good. Excellent. Then take one arm across the body and pull it in with the other arm. So we're stretching out through the shoulders, really relaxing the left shoulder down. And then take that to the other side, stretching it out. Then let that go. Take one arm up above the head, and bend at the elbow and let the hand come down the back. From here you can either put your other hand on top of your elbow and encourage that hand straight down the spine, or if it's in your practice and you want to take the other hand behind and go for the bind, then go for the bind. But try and keep your head stacked on top of your spine, trying to keep that shoulder open. Then take 2 really deep breaths here. Good. If you're in the bind, release it. If you have your hand on your elbow, release it. And then we'll move to the other side. So bending that hand, or bending the elbow even, hand comes down your spine. Either pull on the elbow, or if it's in your practice and you want to take a bind, then take the hand behind and go for the bind. And just notice how one side might be different to the other. And take 2 really deep breaths here. And then release that one off. If you're kneeling, then bring your feet around the front, and if you're cross-legged, then uncross your legs. And then just take the left leg and cross it over the right thigh, and just use your other hand to circle through the ankle. It's like a mini massage for that ankle. If you have flexible toes and you want to thread your fingers through the toes as you're doing that movement, then feel free to do that. And then take those circles in the other direction. Good. Then ground down through that foot, bringing the knee up. So we are sat up tall with one knee bent and the foot to the other side of your knee. Then I have my right leg up, so I'm turning towards the right. If you have your left leg up, then turn towards the left. But hug around the front knee, keeping the spine nice and long and nice and tall. Look around over your shoulder. So inhale to really lengthen the spine and exhale to twist. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to twist. Then come back to the centre, untuck that leg, and then bring the other leg in. So cross the ankle across the thigh and start by circling through the ankle. Take it one way, then take it the other way. If you have flexible toes, and you can thread your fingers in between your toes, in order to then circle through, then feel free to do that. A few one way, and then a few the other way. Then ground down through that foot, making sure that your sit bones are both happy and grounded on the mat. Sit up nice and tall, and then hug around that front leg. Inhale to lengthen through the spine, exhale to twist. Inhale to lengthen, exhale to twist. Inhale to lengthen, exhale to twist. And coming back to centre, untangle the feet, bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees flop out to the sides. Ideally you want 2 hand widths between your pelvic bone and your heels. So you've got plenty of space. Sit up nice and tall and lean as far forward from your hips as you can, and then roll over. Now in this one, we're just going to stay here for a couple of minutes. You can either hold onto your toes or open your feet like a book if that's in your practice. Or if you feel more comfortable by threading your arms underneath your legs and coming into turtle, then feel free to do that. But as you inhale, try and inhale really deep into the belly and into the hips. And as you exhale, just try and relax everything towards the mat. Another couple of really deep inhales in this posture. Then very, very slowly start to roll the spine up from the base all the way up to the top. Stacking the bones, one on top of the other, on top of the other, on top of the other, until we come all the way up to the top. Then take the hands on the outside of the knees and squeeze the knees together. Take the legs out in front of you and give them a little bit of a shake. Then we will come around onto our mats. Feet nice and grounded. Really find a position where you can sit up tall, arms out in front of you. And we'll move into boat pose. So any issues with the lower back, you can support yourself by bringing your fingers to the mat. Otherwise, keep the arms out in front of you. Really pull the core in tight. Lift one toe up, lift the other toe up. Find a real comfortable balance. So we've balanced on our feet, we've balanced on our hands, now we're balancing on our bums. Take a nice big inhale here. On the exhale, squeeze everything in tighter. Squeeze the inner thighs towards one another. Squeeze the tummy muscles in. Then as you exhale, cross the legs and roll over the legs, let the head hang heavy. Nice big inhale here. Exhale, relax everything onto the mat. Then inhale, roll up and come back up into boat. Finding that balance, really squeezing the inner thighs towards one another, squeezing the tummy muscles in, lifting the chest up. Again, if you need to support the lower back, you can bring your hands down. Keep breathing, keep strong in the pose. And then cross the legs the other way and exhale, come forward, lean over, relax. Nice big inhale, exhale, relax everything onto the mat. On the next inhale, come back up into boat. Nice big inhale here. On an exhale, squeeze everything, go down into low boat. Inhale, back up into high boat. Exhale into low boat. Inhale up into high boat. Exhale into low boat. You can do it, come on, one more. Inhale up. Exhale down. And then relax everything down into Savasana. Feet fall open. Hips completely relaxed. Tuck the shoulders underneath the torso. Hands out to the sides, palms up. And allow everything to relax onto the mat. Any pain in the lower back at all, then bring the feet to the floor and let the knees roll in. Or take the soles of the feet together and let the knees fall out into butterfly legs. Then gradually take your awareness to the different parts of your body as I mention them. And try and relax that part of the body. Let gravity push that part of the body onto the mat. Right thumb, forefinger, middle finger, ring finger, little finger, back of the hand, wrist, excuse me, right forearm, elbow, upper arm, right shoulder, right ribs, right side of the waist, hip, glutes, back of the leg, back of the knee, calf, ankle, heel, sole of the foot, right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, little toe. Now take your awareness to your left hand, the left thumb, forefinger, middle finger, ring finger, little finger, back of the hand, wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm, left shoulder, left ribs, left side of the waist, left hip, glute, back of the leg, back of the knee, calf, ankle, heel, sole of the foot, left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, little toe. Both heels, calves, back of the thigh, glutes, back of the pelvis, lower back, middle back, upper back, shoulders, the back of the head. Everything is relaxed, letting gravity press it into the mat. The feet are relaxed. The legs are relaxed. The pelvis is relaxed. The belly and diaphragm is relaxed. The ribs, the chest, the collarbones are relaxed. Hands, arms, shoulders, relaxed. Neck, head, face, relaxed. Your whole body completely relaxed. And when you're ready, bring your awareness back to your body. Maybe wiggling your fingers and your toes, maybe circling through your wrists and your ankles. And then move your body in whatever way it wants to move. If you want to stretch, then stretch. If you want to hug your knees in, then hug your knees in. If you want to twist, then twist. Thank you for joining me and making the effort to practice this evening. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you on your mat again soon.